In the turbulent decade before the Civil War, the United States faced deepening divisions over the expansion of slavery into new territories. From Congress to the courts, from Kansas prairies to the very floor of the Senate, every attempted compromise seemed to only harden sectional lines. The 1850s were marked by failed legislative solutions, outbreaks of political violence, and landmark court rulings that pushed the nation closer to secession. Let's get started. In January of 1854, Democratic Senator Stephen Douglas of Illinois introduced a bill to organize a massive territory west of Missouri and Iowa into the Nebraska Territory. With settlers beginning to arrive, the time had come to establish a civil administration. But the land lay above the Missouri Compromise line, meaning that slavery would be excluded. Southern leaders opposed this, so Douglas, under pressure, made two key concessions. The region would be split into Kansas and Nebraska. The part of the Missouri Compromise banning slavery north of the 3630 line, well, that would be repealed. The Kansas Nebraska Act of 1854 left the question of slavery to popular sovereignty. The settlers themselves would decide. The South unanimously supported the measure, while it divided the North, drawing only partial backing from Northern Democrats. Far from easing tensions, the act was the single greatest step towards secession and civil war thus far. It shattered the Whig Party, drove many Northern Democrats away from their own party, and set the stage for bloodshed. Following the act's passage, settlers from both the North and South flooded into Kansas. Many sought land and opportunity, but others specifically to influence the slavery decision. Pro slavery border ruffians crossed from Missouri. Free soilers migrated from the North. Violence soon erupted, earning the territory the grim name Bleeding Kansas. By late 1856, over 200 people had been killed. In one of the most infamous incidents, radical abolitionist John Brown, along with his sons and followers, murdered five pro slavery settlers at Pottawatomie Creek. The Kansas conflict spilled into Congress. In May of 1856, Republican Senator Charles Sumner of Massachusetts delivered a speech known as the Crime Against Kansas, calling for Kansas to be admitted as a free state and insulting Senator Andrew Butler of South Carolina. 2 days later, Butler's nephew, Congressman Preston Brooks, attacked Sumner at his desk, striking him over 30 times with a cane until he lay bloody and unconscious. Brooks later bragged about the assault, keeping the cane's gold head as a trophy. Sumner could not return to Congress for over 4 years due to his injuries, but in the North, he became a hero. In the South, so did Brooks, who was triumphantly reelected despite being censored. The incident symbolized the growing cultural and political chasm between these two regions. In 1857, the Supreme Court further inflamed tensions with its ruling in Dred Scott v. Sanford. Dred Scott, enslaved in Missouri, had been taken by his owner to free territory in Illinois and also in Wisconsin. After his owner's death, Scott sued for his freedom, arguing that his time in free land had made him free. While a lower court initially agreed, the Missouri Supreme Court overturned the decision, and the case went to the U.S. Supreme Court under Chief Justice Roger B. Taney. The court ruled that Scott could not sue because Black Americans were not citizens. Scott was property, the court ruled, and Congress had no authority to deprive someone of their property in the territories. This decision nullified the Missouri Compromise and opened all territories to slavery, a resounding victory for the South and a devastating blow to Northern hopes of containment. By the early 1850s, the second party system of Democrats and Whigs collapsed under the pressure of the slavery debate. In the 1852 election, Democrats easily defeated the fading Whigs. Franklin Pierce won 254 electoral votes to the Whigs' 42. Many cotton Whigs in the South joined the Democrats, consolidating their control of Congress and also the presidency. But after the Kansas-Nebraska Act, opposition coalesced into the new Republican Party, made up of former Free Soilers, Whigs, and anti-Nebraska Democrats. Republicans ran on a platform opposing the expansion of slavery into the territories. In the 1854 midterm elections, Republicans and allied opposition party members won dozens of House seats and control of many state governments. Though they lost the presidency in 1856 to Democrat James Buchanan, Republicans carried 11 of the 15 free states and won 114 electoral votes, cementing the beginning of the third two-party system between the Democrats and Republicans. The attempts of the 1850s to resolve the slavery question through legislation, court rulings, or political realignment did not calm sectional tensions. Instead, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, Bleeding Kansas, the caning of Charles Sumner, the Dred Scott Decision, and the rise of the new party system all pushed the North and South further apart. By decade's end, compromise seemed nearly impossible, and the nation was teetering on the brink of civil war. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.